Rescue 8, Truck 6, Truck 3, Battalion 3, and the on-call inspector. 2303 West 46th Street, number 208.
Hi, this is Division Chief Steve Fessler, and on this episode, we're going to look in a little further into our urban search and rescue teams, or what we call USAR, in an incident that recently happened downtown. We're also going to take a little bit of a walk around on one of our newest engines, Engine 1, and we'll take a look at why you should close your bedroom door at night.
I'm with Captain Mike Murphy here. He's with our USAR team, and we're on scene of it came in as a possible structural issue on a building. We've got the facade of one of the buildings downtown kind of leaning out. Mike, what did you see when you got on scene?
Yeah, initially we were advised that we had a potential structural collapse issue downtown, so we arrived on scene and performed what we call building size up, and so we were able to assess really all 6 sides of the structure and determine, if we had an immediate hazard, and so we isolated the area to make it as safe as possible until we were able to get a better idea of what was going on today.
Okay, and you are one of our structural engineers with the USAR team, correct?
I feel it's a position that's called structural specialist,
okay.
And so I have a little bit of background in civil engineering with an emphasis in structures, and so that allowed me to do some additional training out in California that specializes in structural collapse, and so I'm able to fulfill that role for the department.
A lot of extra education in this area.
A lot, yep. It's been a lot of fun. Got to go a lot of great places and do some great training with some great individuals, and bring that back to South Dakota and help serve the city.
And you've been involved with quite a few of our different structural issues that we've had.
Yes, yep. I have responded to quite a few different instances in Sioux Falls, most notably the Copper Lounge incident, and along with several others. So.
Okay. So right now, what are we kind of just waiting to see how things go? Look at getting
absolutely.
Contractors
So we've isolated the area, made it as safe as possible. We're currently monitoring the structure to see if we are seeing any additional movement with the structure to determine what our next course of action is going to be. Okay. At this point, it looks like we're going to continue to isolate the area and then call in some additional resources, which would most likely be contractors in this instance.
One other question is that comes out is with the USAR, how many USAR stations do we have?
Sioux Falls Fire Rescue currently has 3 urban search and rescue stations, okay. Station 5, Station 8, and Station 4.
And with USAR Urban Search and Rescue, what does that consist of?
Yeah, we have currently 6 different disciplines that we specialize in, those being structural collapse, confined space, trench rescue, surface water, high-angle rescue, and then we also have a search component.
Okay.
So
it covers a wide variety of areas. And
certainly.
A lot of extra training and classes for everybody.
A lot of
involved.
extra time and effort put into those programs to make sure we're ready really to respond anywhere, both in the city and statewide if necessary.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
When looking at residential fire statistics, most fire deaths occur in the bedroom. In this next segment, we're going to show you a hands-on demonstration on why it is important for you to keep your bedroom doors closed at night. So for the experiment today, what we did is we took a trash can and put it in the common hallway between the 2 bedrooms. One bedroom we're going to keep the door closed. The other bedroom we're going to have the door open. We set up some heat detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and some cameras in each bedroom so we can get the readings to show you guys why it is important to keep your door closed at night. So as the fire is progressing here, you notice that the bedroom with the door open is starting to fill up with smoke. The bedroom with the door closed has no smoke in it yet. A couple minutes into it, you can see how if you were sleeping with your bedroom door open, you would not be able to breathe, and a couple breaths and you would be unconscious from the smoke and the carbon monoxide plus all the other dangerous gases you got. So this video definitely shows you why it is important to sleep with your door closed. When you're looking at the carbon monoxide numbers, anything over 1,000, you're going to see immediate symptoms of the carbon monoxide and will be unconscious. As in the other bedroom, if you're looking at the numbers, we never really got over 28 parts per million, which you can be in for over 8 hours. So as you can see, this is why it is very important that you do have a smoke detector in each bedroom as well as out in the hallway. So here again, we would just want to emphasize to definitely sleep with your doors closed at night. It's going to give you that extra time to get out of your home safely. And like I said, make sure you do have those working smoke detectors in each bedroom.
All right, one of the things that we often get questions about is our helmets that people see us wearing out and about. And today I'm with Captain Mike Gramlich.
He's on truck 7 here, and he's going to explain a few things with the helmets that we have, and in the end we're going to look at the newest evolution of helmet that we're looking at, the European style helmet. Mike, this one, you started with one similar to this back when you started?
I did, yeah. This was the smaller, a little more compact version than the modern one we're using today. Actually, it kind of illustrates another unique feature of our helmets is the color. So when I started, my helmet was black because I was a firefighter. We still use colors today. Obviously, red denotes captain. This was a good serving helmet for our department until we moved on to the next phase.
The next phase, and I know there's a lot of individuals that want to keep these as we evolved. So
yeah, that's always the way it is. Change is hard. So
and then we moved on to the the good old traditional style looking helmet. You could have it the hard shell like that. There are also leather ones that a few individuals were running around with, and we've been going with those for quite a few years now. Yeah,
the traditional helmets were originally made of leather. We do have some of those running around to denote some of our master firefighters and our master drivers. Those are employees that have gone the extra mile, taken some extra training, had some extra teaching opportunities. But now, of course, they're all made of synthetic materials, much lighter than a leather helmet, and this is really what you'd think of as the iconic firefighter helmet.
And the one thing we really strive and push for now is to have a clean helmet.
For sure.
Not a dirty helmet, not all sooted up or anything like that. The cleaner the better, anymore. If you have a dirty helmet, you're not doing something right.
Well, that's another one of those changes. It used to be a sign of pride to have a dirty helmet because it showed how you had been in the fires, but today we know better.
And then we've got our smaller USAR helmet that I know people will see us running around with, say if we're doing something out on the water or, at a structural collapse or confined space, any one of those situations. Well, why that style of helmet?
So this one obviously is built for agility, mobility. It's much lighter, obviously takes up a much smaller footprint. If you're crawling in and out of tight spaces, this is the kind of helmet you want. Obviously something like that wouldn't perform in water very well either. These are actually really popular helmets amongst our men and women.
And then the European style. I know here what has it been, about 6 months ago now, 7 months ago?
Yeah, probably about half a year,
We were talking about this style helmet, and you agreed to try it, wear it, see what you thought of it. Let me know, what do you think?
Well, so this obviously is the next evolution in helmets. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way to go. I've been wearing it for 6 months, so I definitely have firsthand experience. Undeniably out of the gate, it is lighter. You notice it instantaneously. When you're working on a scene for an extended period of time, you don't get that fatigue through your neck, through your head, that kind of thing. I also like the ability to get in. It has some of the same features of this helmet in that it's got a smaller footprint. So you're not whacking into things. You have
so
a lot.
If you're climbing into a car to help EMS on an extrication or something, you can get in there without worrying about hitting the rim on anything. And
One of the other things that I think is that I like very much about this helmet, so our older helmets, they have in essence a tightening band that goes around the circumference of your head. So really kind of a one point of contact around. This as you can see the knob in the back, it actually adjusts more like a bike helmet if you're familiar with that, and it actually kind of comes in like that.
Also the whole surrounding.
So the fit is just superior in every way to the other.
And it's got a built-in light on the top, I see.
It does, has a built-in face shield.
Okay.
In the future, and it sounds pretty futuristic, almost Jetson-y type stuff, but these two side pieces are actually removable, and they have both speakers. They even have a monocle tick, which is a thermal imaging camera. So for us, that would mean you don't have to hold the device in your hands. You actually have it right here on your helmet. Obviously, as we continue to evolve into the future, those are features that we would really like to see.
Okay. Would you see yourself going back to the traditional style, or would you prefer to stay in the European style?
Well, I'll have to continue to work on this department, so I'm going to say without question, I hope everyone gets their choice. But my choice, I would never go back to the old style.
You like the European
style? It's a better helmet for me in every way.
Oh, good. It's good to hear. And I must admit, I've always liked the style. I guess the one other question is, do you get water down your back?
So what I really notice, of course, every scene that I go on to, there's usually a gaggle of folks who come around and they want to ask questions, they want to talk about how the helmet performs. And what they always offer are the patented complaints about the helmet that they're just regurgitating from other people.
Oh, yeah.
Water going down the back is one of them, not being able to hear, the helmet's too hot. There's all of these things. Truthfully, I haven't been able to evaluate whether or not I hear better or worse. It seems very similar to me. The heat seems relative. I have not had a problem with water going down my back. So it's just none of those things really seem to be holding. And when I compare that or contrast that to the absolute ease of use, the better fit, the lighter, the better footprint, these things outweigh those perceived weaknesses all day long for me.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time here and letting us see the European style helmet compared to the traditional style. And we'll let you get back to
drill. We're using it.
Your evolutions.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Mike.
Enjoy.
So earlier in the show, you saw our USAR team working downtown on scene during an incident where the facade of a building was coming down. And right now we're out here with one of our newer firefighters, Firefighter Training, and he's finishing up with the last course within his USAR certifications. How many different courses have you been going on?
So this will be our fifth course that we've taken.
And this is the structural collapse course, correct?
Yes, structural collapse. So a lot of the other courses have kind of come together with this one.
What were the other courses that we went through?
Some of the other courses that we went through were, we started with rope rescue.
Okay.
Then we did confined space.
Okay.
Swift water rescue, trench rescue, and now structural collapse.
And now structural collapse. So it's you're looking at a lot of hours worth of training to get through the full gamut of USAR training for us. What is it, roughly 280 hours, I believe?
280 hours it takes to get through the 5 courses.
In this course here today, you're on which day of how many?
So right now we're on the 4th day out of 6 days.
4th day out of 6 days. Okay, and they're long days too, right? Correct?
Correct, yep. In order to get through kind of all the training and to do certain shores and stuff like that multiple times, it takes time to put stuff together. And for each of us to get the experience and the hands-on, it takes a little time. So.
And we've got our newer Sioux Falls individuals here. We've got Rapid City Fire here. We've got Watertown Fire, I believe. Anybody else out here too?
We do have some from Aberdeen also.
Oh, Aberdeen also, I missed. So with the other departments here, why do we train with them?
So we have a regional task force team that, so we all work together. For example, on the Copper Lounge collapse, when there's a longer period of time of working, we had the Sioux Falls guys working on the first shift, as in a sense of, at some point they're gonna get so tired, so to be most efficient, it's good to get everyone from the state to be able to come and help out. Aberdeen came down, I know Rapid City came over and stuff like that, so by the time they got here, we were about ready for that, for the switch, so then those guys were fresh, ready to go. And vice versa, if something was to happen on the west side of the state, Rapid City would do the same thing, same with the north side of the state with Aberdeen and Watertown. So
it's a good collaboration between all the departments that we have within the state to have a good working unit.
Correct, and then we get to know them a little bit better here, know what they're capable of doing, know the equipment they have, and stuff like that. And so then when we get on those scenes, instead of we're used to working with each other, which makes things a lot more efficient.
Kind of tell me, is it a lot of classroom or is it a lot of hands-on?
So the first day was classroom, and pretty much the rest has been hands-on. I know a lot of firefighters like me, it's a little easier once you get your hands on stuff to really pick things up and kind of understand them a little bit better. So it's been, besides the first day, the rest of the days have been hands-on. And so some of the stuff you've been doing here, shoring, concrete cutting, breach and break, what other things? Right, so we have interior shoring, exterior shoring, rigging and lifting, for example, taking concrete slabs off of things. Also cutting, breaching, if we have to get through a wall, get through concrete, different materials and stuff like that. Cutting with the torches also to get through metals. So kind of all that we've been working on. And if I remember right, the last day you get to do what we call the fun house, breaching and breaking through a bunch of different things in kind of a competition type thing. Is that correct? Correct. Yep. The last day we'll take everything we learned from the week and we'll use it with each other's teams and stuff like that, and we'll have a competition on seeing who is the most efficient at getting through that fun house and applying everything we learned this week in that last day. Well, great. Thanks for your time, and good luck with the rest of the class. And like I said, thank you.
All right, we're here with a new episode called Truck Check. What Truck Check is, each morning when the crew gets on, they go through the truck, make sure it's ready for the day. So to help us go through one of these truck checks, we're going to bring in FAO Scott Reeland. to help us out. Now, Scott, we're here at Station 1. Kind of walk me through what you guys do when you get here in the morning.
Okay. So this truck right here is Engine 1. It is a Freightliner, built, the fire truck part of it's built by Rosenbauer. So when we come in the morning, the first thing I do is we put our stuff on the truck, and then I get in the cab and check out all the controls, the fuel level, the air, all that different stuff to make sure it's ready for the day. And then I kind of get out and work my way around the truck, just making sure that everything's good.
Okay, let's take a walk around the truck here.
Okay.
How many of these engines are in town?
There's 3 engines that are about identical to this. They all have little nuances that are different, but for the most part, they're just exactly like this one.
Okay. How many crew members do you have in this truck?
On a day-to-day basis, we have 4 crew members on the truck. The truck itself is capable of carrying 5 people. There's 5 seats with seat belts in it.
Another thing is I notice is the SCBAs nowadays, they're built right into the seats. I know back in the day they used to be in a container, you get out and put them on. Is that a time-saving deal, or are the firefighters all ready to go when they get to the fire then?
Yeah, it just allows for the firefighters to be able to have their air tanks on when they arrive on scene. So when those guys get in the truck, before we leave, the first thing they do, put their seat belts on, and then once their seat belts are on, they're able to then put their air tanks on, and they're ready to go.
Okay. All right, now moving on here. Notice this panel here. What do we got going on here?
Okay, so this is essentially the controls for the fire pump on the truck. Just all the different valves and gauges that it takes to produce water through the fire hoses.
So on a fire scene, this is usually where you're standing. You're making sure everybody's getting the
water. If we have a first due fire, then my job is to come here and operate the pump.
Okay.
We engage the pump inside the truck and then come out here and take water from the tank or from a hydrant or from a static source and flow it through the fire hose.
All right. And I notice here we got a controller here. Looks like a remote control. What do you use that for?
So that remote control runs what we call a deck gun. It's essentially just a big nozzle on top of a pipe up on top of the truck. That allows us to run that without getting up on top of the truck and being up there.
Okay. Moving on to the next compartment here. What do we got going on here?
This compartment carries our high-rise packs, which are for,
So we're looking at these right here.
Yep, those are the high-rise packs. We use those for, fires in high-rise buildings where we can connect to standpipes. In our community, we're probably more likely to use it as an addition to our other attack lines. So if our pre-connected hoses aren't long enough, we can use this to extend our lines out.
Okay, now a standpipe. Now that's what's a standpipe?
A standpipe's a pipe usually in a stairwell of a taller building where it's difficult to bring hose through the stairwell. It's a pipe that the fire truck connects to on the outside of the building, and then it just flows water up to each floor.
Okay, so like if somebody's in an apartment building, they're going up the stairwell, everybody sees that pipe there,
Yep.
and there's a connection there. That's what that's for, is to connect something like this too for you firefighters.
Correct, yep.
Okay. All right.
What else in this compartment is we have a variety of nozzles and hose appliances and adapters that allow us to, just any different combination of stuff that we might be able to do. Then we also there's a forcible entry kit, which is designed for, non-destructive forcible entry into buildings.
Okay. All right, so moving on here.
This compartment has a lot of our portable lighting, as you can see. It's kind of just a utility compartment, not a whole lot of emergency equipment in it, really. Shovels, spill dry for car accidents, and lighting. That's the main.
Okay. All right, so coming around the back here, notice we got some hose up here. How much hose do we carry on this truck?
Okay, so this truck carries 700 feet of 5-inch, and there's 18 lengths of 2.5-inch hose up there.
Okay. So the yellow hose, that's the 5-inch?
That's the 5-inch.
So what do we do with that hose?
The 5-inch hose generally goes from a fire hydrant, if you have a fire hydrant on your block, and supplies the truck with water.
Okay, so you don't actually use those to carry around and fight fire?
No, we don't carry those. They could be used, for like relay pumping water from this truck to another truck, or large volumes can flow through there.
All right, and then the blue hose is, what size of hose is that?
That's 2.5-inch hose. We can flow a large volume of water between the truck to a fire. And then the main hose that we'll probably use on this truck is the 1 3/4 hose, which is over here, and that's for our general, run-of-the-mill house fires. And
Okay,
stuff
so
like
that's
that.
kind of like your attack line. That's what the firefighter's gonna be pulling off the truck.
Generally, unless it's a large fire, then they'll pull the
They'll
2.5
go
inch.
2.5.
too.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I notice we kind of went over everything. I noticed the truck's got a lot of stuff. I haven't seen any ladders yet. Where do you keep your ladders on this truck? All right, so that's where you guys keep your ladders.
Yep, they're stored in this tray on the top of the truck that
And-
has, as you can see, it has this the electric motor that lowers it down for us.
And what size of ladders do we carry on this truck?
This truck has a 24-foot extension ladder and a 14-foot roof ladder. A roof ladder is essentially a straight ladder with 2 hooks on the end that can be put over a peak. We use it for that, and it's just a general straight ladder too.
Okay. Now with this deployment way here, is it a lot easier for the firefighter to get the ladder out off the truck? I mean, is it kind of a one-person job, or do you still need 2 guys?
It's a one-person job. I wouldn't say that it's easier. It just allows for us to carry a little bit more equipment on the actual truck itself.
Okay. All right, so now moving on here, I noticed we got some EMS bags on here. So not only do you guys go on fire calls, you also go on EMS calls?
Correct. Most of what we do, by a huge number, is EMS calls. We go on a lot of EMS runs.
Okay. Kind of explain here, what do we got right here?
Okay, so that's what they call a Lucas device. We haven't had that for very long. Essentially what it is it's a mechanical battery-driven CPR machine. It does chest compressions in place of a firefighter doing them.
Okay, and you said that's kind of a newer device that you guys...
Yeah, it's I should say it's fairly newer to us here on our fire department. The ambulances in town have carried them for a little while, so we have some experience using them, but we haven't carried them for that long.
Okay. In this compartment here, what do we got going on here?
This compartment, we have our fire extinguishers and some of our rescue rope equipment. Behind that, there we have our life jackets and our water rescue helmets. And then there's also some more parts of the fire pump, some discharges and intakes.
And this is
on
where
the
you
side.
would hook up like your 5-inch that we talked about earlier?
Yep, that's that, and in the rear is where we would hook the 5-inch hose from a water supply.
Okay. All right, well, looking at this truck, Scott, it looks like you guys, when you guys arrive on scene, you can pretty much do anything without another truck coming in to assist you as far as attacking a fire, doing EMS calls, water rescue.
Correct. There's a lot of equipment that allows us to do a lot of different jobs depending on what the call requires.
So I'm with Conley Orth, one of our fire apparatus operators, and Conley, you're working with the crews on their annual fitness assessments, and give me a little indication of what we do for our annual fitness assessments and what it's all about.
Yeah, fitness assessments are something we do once a year. It's to there's a few parts of the test. We start off with just getting some basic information, vital signs, height, weight, and then do a body fat test and take a couple other measurements. That's the first part of it. Then after that, we move into what's called like a functional movement screen, which is actually a measure of how well people can move their body through space, and then we can pick up any maybe deficiencies they have, aches and pains that are brought on by that, and then we can give them corrective action on how to do that, or how to improve that stuff.
And what are part of the functional movement tests?
Without getting too deep into it, there's about 7 of them, and you get scored on a range on each one of them. Some of them, you just squat down. Some you just kind of do a basic stretch and see how well you are. Some you actually are testing rotary stability, or stability in your torso, so to speak.
So it's all just kind of mechanics.
Yeah, a lot of it is body mechanics along with some range of motion for both muscles and joints.
Okay.
You get that score, and then there have been some studies done on this that actually if you score below a certain number, you are at a significantly increased risk of getting hurt on the job.
Okay.
So typically we want to keep people above that score, and then if they fall below that score or have a body part that's kind of lagging, give them ideas on how to improve that.
And also part of our annual fitness assessments, we do wellness coaching too, where we bring in someone to just kind of sit down, talk, see how people are doing, mentally, emotionally, that type of stuff.
Right, that's part of the emotional part of all this, that we kind of do that on a separate day from here. But yeah, it's kind of an open deal. It's just you and that counselor that you meet with, and she does a pretty good job about getting firefighters to open up, which typically is...
It's a difficult thing to get a firefighter to open up.
It is tough to get us guys to open up about our personal lives, especially. Especially if you're having problems. But she does a good job about getting, there have been people that went in there and said they really don't want to have anything to do with it. They're just going to say what they think they got to say to get out of there, and before you know it, they're in there. They've actually talked some things out and feel good
An hour
about
later,
it.
they're walking out feeling good. So it's extremely important for the social emotional part of it for it all. So, overall, this is something we do on an annual basis. It's scheduled throughout the year. And you guys, you're all firefighters that are leading this and running it, correct?
Yeah, we have gotten some training on our own from our Pure Fitness group to go out and learn how to give these tests. We've come up with the tests, have come up with what we believe to be good tests on measuring things like muscular strength, cardiovascular capacity, and some muscular endurance type stuff.
So it's all about the health and well-being of our firefighters, keeping us all healthy so that we're not getting injured and we can do the job we need to do. Correct?
Right. It's about keeping our firefighters healthy, now and into the future, and a good measure of, or a good way to make sure that that our guys are able to do their jobs.
Yep, that's correct. All right, well, thank you very much, Conley. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you again later.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Sioux Falls Fire. And remember, if you do have any questions, feel free to log on to our website, siouxfalls.org/fire, and you'll find the email link there. Thanks again.